I've been in my Bible lately. You understand? Like, she crazy.
World said fuck us, so we said fuck the world.
You know,
The world said fuck us, so we said fuck the world. The world said fuck us, so we said fuck the world. The world don't love us, nah, so we said fuck the world. Look, I know you people gone, but hold up. I know them nights ain't gone, but hold up. Look, even if you feel you got nothing to hold on, I got a message, and I say hold on to your sanity. I know you in a position that you ain't gonna be. Without lies, but not addicted to gambling. You feel the pressure, the thoughts in your head is scrambling. You feel the storm getting closer, you feel like giving up before you even start and it's over. You feeling like fuck it, you going through too much to be sober. Like this passing you by as you do this over and over, over and over, over and over, over and over. Time to make a change now. Instead of that, you fall a victim to the same now. Starting to find out that their life is not a game now. Back against the wall, putting her as a poor man scream to the top of the world. Said fuck us, so we said fuck the world. The world said fuck us, so we said fuck the world. The world said fuck us, so we said fuck the world. The world don't love us, so we said fuck the world. Look, cover your eyes, don't wanna see the blood on the leaves. Bodies of eyes innocently hanging from trees. Floating the streams, blood in the water, blood on the altar. Still don't believe justice is coming. Heavenly Father, that not Christ say vengeance is mine. Don't even bother. When he return, it's gonna be slaughter. Oh, I know you don't wanna face it, but what's real love sound like hatred. And you gotta be fucking crazy. And you think they gon' get away with killing all them babies, speeding them to alligators. All the women that was raped, the transatlantic slave trade made us build a nation that we can't partake in. School to prison, pipeline, mass incarceration. All the lives that's been taken, hated to love it. You only talk about forgiveness, cause we never get justice. I think you really reluctant. I remember hearing the hood niggas say all the shit he would've done if he was living during slavery. Look what's going on today, and you ain't doing a damn thing but putting shame on your ancestors' name. But who's to blame? All these drugs, pills, weed, beans, lean, and cocaine. I get the feeling that we living in a big dope game. We said fuck us, so we said fuck the world. The world said fuck us, so we said fuck the world. The world said fuck us, so we said fuck the world. The world don't love us, so we said fuck the world.
Shalom, Israel. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We're led by the amazing Commander General YAHANNA. We're here in Houston, Texas. Boot Kiss Kappa of the world.
That's right.
I'm your priest, Officer 50, Yakaba Ban Yahada Ban Yasha'al. And we're going over some quick scriptures real quick about some brotherhood, because we need to start treating each other right. We need to stop treating each other like we ain't brothers. Treat each other like we royalty, like we're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? You treat your brother and your sister like the kings and princesses they are. The princess, you treat your sister like the princess she is, you treat your brother like the king he is. You know what I'm saying? Give me the book of 1 John chapter 4 and 20.
Said 4 and 20.
Kind of. Because the way we've been treating each other, been terrible. You know what I'm saying? If your brother calls you for help, and you have it within your power to help, why not help? Why be like, nah, I ain't gonna help that nigga. Or I ain't gonna help him out. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like calling him back. I don't feel like going over there picking him up. You know what I'm saying? Man, I done already came in the house now. I done already pulled my shoes off. I don't feel like coming out there helping him right now. You know what I'm saying? Why would you do that? Because if you was down, you want him to help you, right? You know what I'm saying? If You ain't had no food in the house. You want them to help you out if you could, right? If your lights was off, the AC ain't working, you want them to help you out, right? Shoot. Especially, all of us done experienced that just a little while ago with the little hurricane. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had their lights out. Everybody's fridges was, all their freezers was melting. All their food was going bad. You know what I'm saying? And if you leaned on your brother, you had brotherhood and you had somebody to help. You know what I'm saying? But if you didn't lean on your brother and just sat there by yourself, I mean, you all alone. You know what I'm saying? And for those who had brothers who were in need and you did not help them, brother, you wrong. Go ahead, give me a scripture, brother.
This is the book of 1 John chapter 4, verse 20. If a man say, I love God and hate his brother, he is a liar.
How you gonna love God and hate your brother? When you don't help your brother out with their burdens, or you hate on your brother for no reason, you showing God that you don't love him. Why? Because love is what? What type of word is love, brother?
An action.
It's an action word. It's on what you doing. You know what I'm saying? It's not just on what you saying and what you saying that you feeling. You know what I'm saying? Bro, I feel you, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's not on that. It's on what you are doing. What do you do to show that you love God and that you love your brothers? Have you walked into this school yet? Have you started keeping the law, statutes, and commandments? Have you put down the strip, crab, pork, and lobster? Have you put down the blunts? Put down the powder bags? Put down all the different types of lights? Have you stopped doing any of that? Have you stopped being a drunkard? Have you started trying to lead your family and do what was instructed of you to do? You know what I'm saying? Have you started trying to seize rulership? Or you decided to be comfortable? You're sitting off in the corner, chilling with the homies. Like, nah, I'm good. Come. Without further ado, I'll pass the class over to Precinct Officer 5000 Knott.
YAHANNA, you little crazy. Alright. So what you was in?
I was on Brotherhood.
Huh?
No,
The charger?
Torch. Like the,
Oh, the torch over there over top of that first aid kit. Alright, you said Brotherhood?
I was at 1 John 4:20, sir.
Alright, what's on crazy? The good thing about this Bible is the Lord gave us the truth. You know what I'm saying? For us to have brotherhood, to be, this joint is gonna be in my way. Oh yeah, this joint is right in my way. We're gonna start off with Deuteronomy 4 and 6. Deuteronomy 4 and 6. I ain't give you that book to have, man. I give you the book to look at. Huh? He gonna say thank you. What? Alright, Deuteronomy 4 and 6.
If you, slide give you could, sir, can you like explain how it's a disadvantage to love everybody, like the side effects and things like that happen trying to
The disadvantage in loving everybody?
sir.
Okay. I'm gonna give you an example that my dad always gave me, right? Let's say you're in the airplane, right? And the airplane going down. The drones drop out the sky, right? One for you, one for the person next to you. Who do you put the mask on first?
Yourself.
Yourself. Why not the person next to you?
So you don't know about that.
Let's say if it was your sister or your brother or your cousin or your uncle or your dad or your mother or whoever. Why wouldn't you put the mask on them first?
If it was my child, I'll put him on there.
If it's your child, I mean, I would understand that, right? But why would you put the mask on yourself first in most cases? Simple question? Actually, might not be a simple question.
Yeah,
It's an intricate question. But they always tell you to put the mask on yourself first. Why? Shout out to Nakawan. That song was fire too.
I really don't know, sir.
You don't know? Yakabizi,
Give it a shot.
why do you put the mask on yourself first if the airplane going down?
I would have saved everybody else.
Self-preservation, they instruct you to at the beginning of the flight.
Keep going.
You know what I'm saying? So basically, you had instructions to love you. You know what I'm saying? Love your people, basically.
Yakubah got the spirit of it. Now, if you try to save anybody else first, you won't save yourself. You'll miss the whole point. The whole point is to get you right first. That's why we show ourselves love first. Because it say when the wicked beareth rule, the people are mourning. When the righteous beareth rule, the people rejoice. But you can't save nobody without saving yourself first. So that's why we always talk about salvation is for us first, which is a whole nother joint I got. But salvation is for us. We the only ones that can be saved because we the ones that were lost. We the ones that were forgotten. We the ones that were taken into captivity. We the ones that were, they took crafty counsel against us. They literally systematically destroyed us. So why should everybody else be getting saved when we the ones that were destroyed? Or how can everybody else get saved if we the ones that were destroyed? So when you ask your question, who are you thinking about, like saving everybody else? Are you talking about family or?
I'm just asking a general question. Because
Okay.
there's people that they try to love everybody because they got this general belief of everybody.
Talking to the
not
microphone.
bad.
It's just a situation that usually occurs that people, they look at you differently when you choose your people over everybody else.
That's true. That's true. But they choose their people over everybody else as well. If it was a situation where it was you or their own people, they would never choose you first. Ever. And I think it takes us a little bit of time to understand that. Because we think that everybody else cares like we do. We think everybody else got compassion like we do. But they don't have compassion like we do. Give me Jeremiah 3:23.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 23. Truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hills, and from the multitude of mountains. Truly in the Lord our God is the salvation of Israel. Verse 24. For shame have devoured the labor of our fathers.
Let me get with you. Jeremiah 3 and 23. Go ahead.
Truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hills,
Mm-hmm.
and from the multitude of mountains. Truly in the Lord our God is the salvation of Israel.
Salvation of who?
Israel.
Now, the hope, like we discussed this last week, right? Yakubah, salvation is hoped for from the hills, but salvation ain't for everybody. We hope for a saving from the hills and the mountains or the governments, right? We hope for saving, salvation from the governments, but they can't save us. We know the saving or salvation is only for certain people. Like they can't be saved because they already saved. Like think about it like this. Like when you get rich, who do you have to serve to stay rich?
The kingdom you're in.
The kingdom you in, the oppressor, right? But the person that's rich in this kingdom, they free. Like the oppressor that's rich in this kingdom is free. They don't really have to, cause they only serving their own people. But us, when we get rich in this kingdom, we tied to Diddy allegations, Epstein allegations. This thing that you did to get rich in this country. You can't just become rich and be rich. You had to scheme. Because there's no salvation for you. Only salvation you could get is when we all saved. Right? We gotta save ourselves first. So like for instance, you hear better stories about when people come back to their neighborhood like Marshawn Lynch and try to save people from their neighborhood first. They don't get the credit. You know what I'm saying? They're not seen in the big light unless you hear about them from the streets. They try to save the whole neighborhood, the whole block. But anybody else you talk about, oh, you better believe they got a ride in their face. They got a ride all the way in their face, all the way in the back of their face somewhere, because they trying to be major in America. It's the only way you can get up in America. You gotta blow a ride. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Real talk. Am I lying? I'm not lying. Meek Mill just put up $100,000 to get the Diddy allegations off of him. $100,000. Who was he paying that to? Where did he get it from? That's a tax. And Diddy, they don't even got no real cases on him for real. They got allegations, but if you read his case, it's 14 pages long. Normally, they'll have like what act or what did he break? You know what I'm saying, like the RICO Act. That's just racketeering. That's making money fraudulently. That's just anything, right? They say he got a grand organization. Like RICO is racketeering, and what's the criminal organization. But how can you be a criminal organization if he's the only one arrested? Where's the rest of the organization? If he's a prostitute, that's the Mann Act. Or he prostituting, that's the Mann Act, bringing people from one person to another place. They don't say that in his documents. Right? Now the whole world talking bad about him. And they probably let him out. Let's say they let him out in 2 weeks. All right, Diddy, you free. His reputation is done. So whatever power he had is gone. They killed him. Right? Like to be elite in America, you must serve the master. And it's just that simple. So why would you want to save them when they don't need to be saved? We need to hold on to them for our salvation. When the Bible's saying, no, you the only one that can be saved. So why hold on to them? They'll never be saved. The Bible prophesies their death, their destruction, their demise. And if you hold on to them, you'll have the same reward. Read that scripture one more time. Come on, look.
Truly in vain is salvation hope for from the hills.
So now when we try to save them, or we try to, make sure that they straight first, that's vain hope. And you gonna hope, oh, I wish little Becky make it out. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I pray for little Becky. Or I pray for the Indian with 32 letters in his name. Or, you know what I'm saying? I pray for, little sing song. You know what I'm saying? Or whoever you praying for that's outside of your race. Whoever you hope that they'll make it. Now, granted, if they did the right thing and the Lord see favor in them, like when that Syrophoenician grabbed on Christ's garment, she was humble and she understood her place. So Christ blessed her. The Most High blessed her. But if she don't see her place and she's hubris like Donald Trump, I don't think nobody's going to be jumping in line to bless them or help them. Right? Read the scripture one more time.
For shame, truly in vain is salvation hope for from the hills, and from the multitude of mountains. Truly in the Lord our God is the salvation of Israel.
All right, give me Isaiah 45:17. If you watched last week's class, we went in to break down the mountains. So if you want to understand the mountains and the hills, watch our government from last week. We went all the way into the governments and the mountains and the hills and broke it all the way down to understand, what the governments and the mountains are. Isaiah 45,
verse 17.
Verse 17.
But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation.
Now, when we be saved, when we get our salvation, it's going to be everlasting. What does everlasting mean?
Lasting forever, never ending.
A long time. A long time. In most cases in the Bible, everlasting life. We won't live forever, but just a long time. Right? So in this case, we're going to have everlasting salvation for a long time, probably until we mess up again. I would imagine. You know what I'm saying? Because you read Judges and say, and the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord again. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord again. That's just how we operate. But Lord willing, we get past that. And we don't hope for salvation from those mountains and those hills and those heathens. And at some, huh?
I don't want to have to go through this whole thing again.
What, the rigmarole?
Yeah, with slavery. And
Slavery, dog. You know how many slaveries we served in the Bible? I'm sorry. You know how many slaveries we served as blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans? I didn't even count all of us. But let's just say Judah for sure. Let's say Israel, right? Israel served about 14 captivities. 14 of them. And Egypt was 600 years. And America so far is like close to 3. We was in Egypt for 600 years. We was in Egypt double the time we was in America. So imagine how great Egypt got. Can you imagine us imagine us, this how we are now. How advanced America is now having us in captivity. Egypt was double. We think that, you know what I mean, they was old. They couldn't have done anything because it's so long ago. Cortez wrote in his book when he came to the Yucatan Peninsula where the Native Americans was, they were so far advanced, they had breath mints. This was in the 1500s.
You said breath mints?
Yeah. The Native Americans were so far advanced, they had breath mints, deodorant, they had streaks of jade, they had tortoiseshell shells for shields, tortoise shells for shields. They had chains on. It's in a book called The Mayan Civilization by Robert, I can't say his last name. I'll bring it in next week. I'll read it to you. It was way advanced. So we think in our mind that how can they do A, B, and C because that was so long ago. But it was the same thing. There's nothing new under the sun. Right? We've always been advanced as a people. So Egypt had to be double advanced that America is. And so as long as they got us in captivity, that's how great they're going to be. And once we say, all right, you know what, we done. We're going to save our own people. Then America won't be great no more. Egypt won't be great no more. And wherever else we at, it won't be great no more. Because we'll be greater than them. We'll be the taller mountain. Just imagine if it was a black league. A black basketball league. All black. No Edomites. Right? And then an Edomite league was over there. Which one would you watch?
Oh, black.
Nigga leave.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's imagine that they was cooking Judite food and Levite food and Simeon and Issachar food over here, and they cooking Esau food over here. Where would you go? I don't even know what Esau food is. What is it, like Kraft mac and cheese? What is Esau food? Whole Foods?
Niggas hot dogs.
Hot dogs? I don't even know what Esau eat. What's them joints? The little hot dogs in the little puff bowl?
It's my corn dog.
Oh, pigs in the blanket.
No, they big. You get it from like the donut store. Kolaches. They gonna be eating them joints. I don't even know what them is. Them joints look nasty too. They gonna eat them. Little nasty little things. Alright? That's their food. Where would you go if you had the choice? Like, if you had their institutions versus your institutions, where you can learn just as much, if not better than them, you will pick your own institutions.
So how can we build our own institution?
We did it. We had it done. You ever heard of Black Wall Street? Black Wall Street had 2 airports, 8 supermarkets, right? They had it was oil money. They had car lots. They had everything. It was thriving. Boy, O.C. Gurley, it's another boy. They made it pop. And then one night, Esau came in there, said what she said, and they burnt it to the ground. You ever heard of historically black colleges and institutions? HBCUs? It was popping. The first one was Cheney, which is when I graduated from. And then it was Lincoln, then it was whatever else came down south. Right? Those institutions took off. The first black college, the first historically black college was in 1837. We were still in captivity. Well, we were still literally slaves. 1837. That was the first black college. And the second one was in 1850 something. Those are black colleges. And they still around today. We didn't have not one black college after Martin Luther King. Not one black supermarket after Martin Luther King. Not one black anything after Martin Luther King. Because he hoped for vain hope from the oppressor. He sold us to the oppressor, thinking that we'll get better salvation with them. He didn't want to save Israel. He wanted to save us through their salvation. Hope from them. We could go to their markets. We could go to their food stores. Go to their schools. Be around them, live in their neighborhoods. And by doing so, we died. Our race died. It obliterated.
So was it drugs in the community before Martin Luther King?
Absolutely. 1940s, they introduced heroin and morphine right after World War One. Right after we came back from World War One, we was drugged out. Before then, it was all gangs. It was fighting between the 1900s or 1890s and the 1940s. Is a very interesting time for black people. Very interesting. Of course, you have it was a lot of billionaires in that time too. A lot of black billionaires in Memphis, in Harlem, in San Francisco, in Boston, Philadelphia. A lot of black millionaires in that time period. We made a lot of money, but black people was super duper poor. Like if you ever read a book by Richard Wright called Black Poor, right? Black folks was super duper poor. Welfare came out in the 30s with Roosevelt and his deal called the new his joint called the New Deal. That's when welfare started and
So
healthcare.
Is it true that Social Security and stuff like that didn't come about until after the Great Depression? Or
Yes, the Great Depression was in the 20s. The New Deal came in the 30s, and that's where welfare came in. They tried to help people with all kind of stimulus checks and food stamps and all of that. That came from Theodore Roosevelt. During that time, they gave us drugs, heroin. They used to call it horse, right? Once the horse came out, the kids was trying it, kind of like today. Kids was trying it, and it was wiping out black neighborhoods. And then soon after, you get the whole Muslim move, the Muslim push, right, or the Islam push, and then you get the black church, the Copulist church, or something like that. And then right after that, you get what you call it, civil rights, and then black nationalism. And during that time, you know what I mean, the Hebrews was out, and that's when they killed Abba Bivens. That's when the people started to try to get smart. But absolutely, drugs was out back then. But we always were trying to find help from them, and that's why we never make it, because we never involve ourselves in the Most High. Right? So give me John 4:22. Hey, Yakaba, you turn the AC on?
It's the book of John.
Turn the AC on?
It's the book of John, chapter 4, verse 22. Ye worship, ye know not what.
Yeah. Break it down.
Basically saying, like, there's a lot of people that don't know what they worship.
Yeah, he's talking to somebody. He's saying, ye worship. What ye worship? This the Sumerian woman. You familiar with the scripture?
Go on, sir.
What's going on right now? Give me a backdrop.
I don't know about the backdrop.
Okay, so the backdrop is, this is Christ talking to the woman from Samaria. You know what Samaria is?
Lies, sir.
Samaria was the capital of a place called Ephraim. Right? Now, when Ephraim was there, it was an Israelite land. That was the capital of the northern kingdom. Right? So that was like Jerusalem for the northern kingdom. So when they talk about Ephraim and Judah, the main two cities that they say is Samaria or Jerusalem. Now, it come a time when all of the northern kingdom left. This land was now called Galilee, right? So in Samaria, they're thinking that they're the Jews. They're thinking that they have the truth. And she's saying to him, our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Christ's like, no, he ain't your father. You don't know what you worship. You thinking that you belong to our bloodline, but you don't. What you worshiping, you don't have no idea. So he's breaking it down to the Sumerian woman, or the Syroph. No, she wasn't Syrophoenician. She was definitely a heathen. Definitely a heathen. What was she? Assyrian. Not Syrian. If I'm not mistaken, she was Assyrian. She was Assyrian. It was Syrian. She was an Assyrian woman because they came and took over the northern kingdom. She was Assyrian, right? So she was not an Israelite. So that's why Christ is saying to her what he said. Read the scripture.
For salvation is of the Jews,
Mm-hmm.
but the hour comes, and now is, when the
Yeah.
true worshippers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth.
Now I'm sure her story was official because she was actually flirting with Christ. She was trying to give him some box. You wanna read the story? You wanna read the story?
Somebody went there was like, washing his feet with her.
No, the woman that wanted to give him a drink by the well. He was like, yo, let me get a drink. I'm like, where your man at? She was like, I ain't got no man.
Then he said she got like 5.
Yeah, that's this story. She was flirting with him. She was talking that talk too. But he like, no. You wanna read the story? You already read it? What's our curse? Now he most definitely probably wanted to save her. Cause she was trying to throw it at him. She threw the pizza box at him like, take a slice. Right? And he like, no, I'm good. Right? But he said to her, salvation is for the Jews. Keep going. Where's he at?
Verse 23, but the hour come and now
Read verse
is.
22.
Verse 22, ye worship, ye know not what.
Hold on. Read verse 20. Verse 20.
This is the book of John, chapter 4, verse 20. Our fathers worship.
She said, who fathers?
Our fathers.
She said, who fathers?
Our fathers.
She trying to say our fathers. Go ahead.
Worship in this mountain.
Uh-huh.
And ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship.
Now, our fathers worship she said, we got the same father. Our fathers worshiped in Mount Ephraim. And you say we worship in Jerusalem. So she's saying that we're the same people. Keep going.
That in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship.
She said, like, if our fathers worship in Ephraim, our fathers, then why are you saying we should go to Jerusalem? What?
Jesus said unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour come when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father.
It's a time where you ain't gonna worship the Father because you don't know what you're talking about. We're not the same. We don't worship the same Father. It should come a time when you're not gonna be here. Keep going.
Verse 22, ye worship, ye know not what.
Now he's saying it's a difference between me and you. What you worship, you don't even know what you worship. But go ahead.
We know what we worship.
Now you don't know what you worship, but we know what we worship. We're not the same. We don't have the same Father. Salvation is for us, not for you. There's gonna come a time where you're not gonna be here. This is what he's telling her. So he don't want to save her. He don't want to make sure she's good and that she makes it in life and whatever the case may be. He want to make sure that we make it. Give me Matthew 18:11.
Hold the scripture.
Huh?
He said, you want me to hold the scripture?
Now you gotta hold it.
This is the book of Matthew chapter 18, verse 11. For the Son of Man is come to save that which was lost.
He said he only came to save us, which is Israel. Christ only came for Israel. He ain't come for the Syrophoenician woman or the Assyrian woman or whatever woman he was around if she wasn't Israelite. Right? So hopefully that answers your question. I mean, we could get more on it. Give me Jeremiah 31 and 35.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 8.
Huh?
He said 8, right?
35.
Oh, 35 and 8?
Hmm?
This is the book of Jeremiah chapter 35, verse 8. Thus
Sing it.
hath
31, 35.
Oh, 31 and 35.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 35. Thus saith the Lord, which give the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night.
So this said, thus said the Lord, who has that much power, he make the sun come up, make the sun go away, make the moon come up, and the stars go in the sky, and make them go away. He got that much power where he makes the days, he makes the elements obey him, right? Thus said the Lord, go ahead.
Which divide the sea when the waves thereof roar.
You know, he's saying he divided the sea. And you know what's heavy? Have you ever seen where the Atlantic and the Pacific meet? They never mix. It's heavy because he literally divided the seas. They don't mix at all, which that's insane to me. And huh? Yeah, but it's really because the heat from the Pacific and the cold from the Atlantic just don't mix. You know what I'm saying? But he divided the seas like Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, all the different oceans and all of that, all the rivers, all the mountains and all of that. He made everything right. The bays, the seas, the little rivers and streams and all of that. He made all of that, right? Go ahead.
The Lord of hosts is his name.
What's on Christ? What?
If those ordinances depart from before me, said the Lord, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever.
He said, when the earth stopped working, that's when he gonna stop dealing with Israel. The whole earth gotta die before the Lord stop dealing with Israel. Like that's how important you should. That's what you should feel. Like I remember, like the Most High said the whole earth would just stop spinning before he stopped dealing with Israel. So you gotta think in my mind, what's the most you could give up? What's the most you can give up? What's the most you can give up? The Most High saying he gonna stop the whole earth. What would you give up to save your brother?
Right?
It's the most you can give up. Right? The Lord said he'll stop earth before he stopped dealing with Israel. Before he stopped trying to save Israel. You won't want to save a Edomite? you little sing. You like, no, sing, no. No, sing. Oh, who you want to say? You want to say the Arabs?
Fuck them Arabs.
Who you want to say? I'm trying to figure out the spirit behind this question. So what would you think, or what was the people, it's not you, right? It's the people around you. Yeah, so what was they talking about?
It's just like, everybody in the world really, like, they all believe that, we should all love each other and come together.
I get what you mean. I get what you're saying. Why do you think they say that though?
Because they lost.
No, give me the spirit behind it. Why do you think they say that?
Because they retarded.
Well, what makes them retarded? Like, what makes that a retarded thought?
Being gullible.
I could see gullible, but you felt the same way a couple years,
I
5
never
years.
felt like that. I always had like.
So you don't even understand the spirit behind it.
Not necessarily.
One thing they do say is, like, not all white people good and not all black people good. Well, I mean, they say not all white people bad, but not all black people good. So they kind of base that belief on that thought.
Right.
But
Let me
Something like the Iron Rusted.
give me Judges chapter 1 verse. Judges chapter 1. Read Judges chapter 1, verse 19.
This is the book of Judges, chapter 1, verse 19.
What?
And the Lord was with Judah, and he drove out the inhabitants.
It's the past tense of still past tense of it's the past tense of drove. It's drave. It's drave. It's drove.
And he drave out the inhabitants of the mountains, but cannot drive out the inhabitants of the
Right.
valley because they had chariots of iron.
Now the Lord was with Judah, right? And the Lord was with him because he drove out the inhabitants out the mountains, right? That they was in. But he didn't drive out everybody. He left some people. Keep going. Verse 20.
Oh, 20. And they gave Hebron unto Caleb as Moses said.
Mm-hmm.
He expelled thence 3 sons of Anak.
So what's going on now? This right after Joshua, right? So Joshua, right when they got out of the wilderness, right? Joshua and Caleb was the only two that was there from Egypt, right? So Joshua was the leader of the people, and Caleb, it was a whole bunch of people, but none of them seen Egypt. Only people that ever seen Egypt and made it to this part was Joshua and Caleb. They remember what it was like in Egypt, right? So in this case, Joshua came out of Egypt and took land over. He started taking, right? Set up land for Reuben, Benjamin, Levi, Judah, Simeon, all of that. He set the whole land like, yeah, Manasseh, you're gonna be on this side and this side of the river, right? He set everything up. Gad, you're gonna be up here. Everything was set up. So now we're at the point where Joshua wasn't around anymore, you know what I'm saying? And now this is what happened once we had everything set up and it was perfect for us. This is what happened to us. Read verse 21.
Verse 21. And the children of Benjamin did not drive out the Jebusites that inhabited Jerusalem, but the Jebusites dwelled with the children of Benjamin in Jerusalem unto this day.
Yeah. Read verse 27.
Neither did, verse 27, neither did Manasseh drive out the inhabitants of Bethshean and her towers, nor to Anak and her towns, nor the inhabitants of Dor and her towns, nor the inhabitants of Ebleen and her towns, nor the inhabitants of Megiddo and her towns, but the Canaanites would dwell in that land.
Now read verse 29.
Neither did Ephraim drive out the Canaanites that dwelt in Gezer, but the Canaanites dwelt in Gezer among them.
Right.
Neither did Zebulun drive out the inhabitants of Kitron, nor the inhabitants of Nahalal, but the Canaanites dwelt among them,
Right.
and became tributaries.
Mm-hmm.
Neither did Asher drive out the inhabitants of Akkar, nor the inhabitants of Zidon, nor of Elad, nor of Agzib, nor of Helbah, nor of Afik, nor of Rehob, but the Asherites dwelt among the Canaanites,
Mm-hmm.
the inhabitants of the land.
Now, give me read verse 34.
But the Amorites forced the children of Dan into the mountain, for they would not suffer them to come down to the valley.
Yeah, they pushed us into a mountain and they wouldn't let us come back down into the valley. They was all amongst us. You know, the curses that the other nations or the other races are going to get amongst us and rise very high, right? And we're going to go very low. Read 3 and 1.
Is there a verse that kind of like says, I know there is, but I just don't know what it is.
That says what?
Like basically like, the enemy gonna get high above you or something like that.
Yeah, read 3 and 1 real quick. Judges 3 and 1.
3 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
This is the book of Judges, chapter 3, verse 1. Now these are the nations which the Lord loved, to prove Israel by them, even as many of Israel as had not known all the Lord.
Read it again.
These are the nations which the Lord left to prove Israel by them.
So what's the point of what's the point of the nations, other nations being here?
To prove Israel.
Yeah. They're trying you. They want to see what you're going to do, right? Are you going to serve the Most High, or are you going to fall into their customs? That's what Edom did. Edom. If you read Edom, when it said Edom had wives of like every nation, and then all the way at the end it said it grieved Rebecca and Isaac. They was just like, this boy Edom is a nutcase. It grieved them because he was with everybody else. He had no love for who he was. Now, if he was a Hebrew, which he technically was, he had no love for it because he had all kind of abominable relationships with everybody else, right? So those other nations are here to try us, to see who you are. And Esau failed with flying colors on purpose, right? All the nations got amongst us, and what they did was put us in captivity, all the way across the board. Everybody that you read that was amongst us, they all put us in captivity. It wasn't our land anymore. So our land that we let them live in became their land. Hold on, I got the scripture.
So do a lot of people because I know like it's something like the family or oppressor is a slave mentality.
Say again?
Something like wanting to do business and be friends with white people is like a slave mentality in a way.
Absolutely. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 32. So we'll read this down a little bit.
This is the book of Deuteronomy.
32, right, sir?
28, 32.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 32.
Good. Man, get you a regular Bible, man.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. And there shall be no might in thy hand.
Read it again on the top.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
Now, this is one of the curses that the Most High says is going to happen to us, right? Our sons and our daughters are going to be given to another people, and our eyes are going to be longing for them. Hey, SHALAM, Lord, crazy. What you got? Is that the Eagles? Eagles, John?
Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Eagles won Super Bowl, right? Yeah, that's the Eagles. Going crazy. So now it says, when those other nations get amongst us, right? When they get around us, our sons and our daughters are going to be given unto the other people. You ever seen anything like that before? Can you say that happened? Or any time in history you've seen it happen? Can you recall it happening? Who did it happen to?
CPS.
Huh?
CPS.
Dang. You're absolutely right. CPS does come and take our kids because your kids don't belong to you. Your kids technically belong to the government.
Or the state, or
Your kids belong to the state and the federal government, which is why they can take your child because you're just a substitutionary parent. That's why they take your child, because your child belongs to them.
Don't they do something similar when your child don't go to school? Like a certain amount of days?
They come send them because it's tardy. They call it neglect, but really it's because that's not your child. So you can't just do what you want to do. You gotta follow what America tells you to do. I'm thinking roots, slavery. What you need? Roots, slavery. Like your children would have been taken from you, right? Or when any type of nation would come and try to, you need the car out of there. Is it gonna turn it off?
Alright, sure.
When anybody wanted to to take over Israel or any type of country, they take the women and children. Right? So your sons and your daughters shall be given to another people. Go ahead.
The fruit of thy land and all thy labor.
So what you missed was thy eyes shall be longing, fulfill and long for them all the day, and there should be no might in thy hand, especially women. Right? So if you take the women and children, and they take your kids, women won't see their children. Right? Drop down to verse 36.
The Lord shall bring thee and thy king which thou shalt set over thee, as a nation where
The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, go ahead, unto a nation.
Unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
So now when we get under them, they're gonna bring us to a place where our fathers ain't never known. Right? We're gonna be underneath, our king gonna be underneath them, which is what happened. We underneath they boot, which is why we don't want to let them around us or amongst us. Or we always want to save them. But when we try to save them, all it'll do is hurt us even more. Right? So now in the curses it's saying once you around them, your king is gonna serve theirs. Keep going.
Unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known,
Mm-hmm.
and there shalt serve, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone.
Now what's the guys of wood and stone?
Christianity, Muslim, right?
Yeah, Christian and Islam, which all black people serve today.
Come on, sir.
Alright? So like, and then matter of fact, just go straight to the point. Give me 43.
Verse 43, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high.
And that's what
and
we
thou
just
shalt-
read. What we just read in Judges, right? The stranger that's around us, the Amorites, the Jebusites, all of them, right? When they get around us or amongst us, they rise very high, which is why they was able to take our country, our land, everything that we had, and made us slaves. Made us work for them.
So is there like a verse in the Bible that explains the definition of stranger?
Get the Bible dictionary. A stranger is somebody that you don't know. It don't got to be a verse in the Bible, but a stranger is somebody you don't know. So, for instance, it said a stranger is going to come from, what's that in the eagle? 28.
Deuteronomy 7 and 6.
What that say?
You have our law.
Give me Deuteronomy 28 and 49.
The Lord shall, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far from the end of the earth.
That's a stranger. A stranger is a nation that you don't even know. They from the other end of the earth, right? You never seen them before, never heard of them before, and the Lord gonna bring them from way over there in the pocket corner of Australia somewhere. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna come from Australia, troop all the way to your crib, and take you out your crib, your mom, your dog, the baby, everybody coming with them. And they're gonna take you, put you on a boat, and ship you all the way back to another side of earth. A stranger that you never even met, right? A nation far off. Read it from the top again.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies.
Now, this is absolutely saying who Esau is. But as swift as an eagle fly, right? An eagle fly way up in the sky, right? See something way up in the sky. A deer from 200 feet up in the sky, right? Boom, hit the ground hard. I seen pictures of an eagle. Eagle like a 7-foot wingspan, right? Eagles are big. 7-foot wingspan is insane, right? Huge. So they come, see a deer, pick a deer like it's this, fly away with it. Talons like this.
Sound like a damn pterodactyl.
Yeah, real talk. Eagles is terrifying, right? Like so now, like the bald eagle in Philly, bald man in white. I mean, or the eagle with the white head, right? It's not bald, it's not like, don't have any hair, but bald just meaning white. So now the eagles, so it's, as swift as the eagle flieth, it'll see you 200 feet up in the sky from far off, come and snatch you right about your crib. That's a stranger. You don't even see it coming. You don't even know who it is. You don't even know, you didn't even see the eagle. Nor that you was in danger. Keep going.
A nation of fierce countenance.
You at the eagle flies.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
You know, when we get when that eagle grab us up and he take us to wherever, America, Assyria, Africa, and they talking that talk, we don't speak that. Right? That's a stranger. Stranger is somebody you don't understand. You don't know where they come from. You don't know what they're speaking. They just random people to you. Right? So, from your question from the beginning, people want to save everybody. But in the scriptures, it's tell us, it's clear as day. Saving everybody at the end is not going to be beneficial to us. Because we know that once we save them, they'll just destroy us. Right? So, to answer your question, people want to save everybody out of their ignorance. Ignorance is why we die in America. But us, here, you got discipline. So you know that by saving Esau, you're saving a devil. What's that one scripture? What's that one story when who was that? Dang. Saul. Was it Saul? He was sent to kill everybody or unalive everybody in the city. And he
Saul was told to kill everybody, but he didn't kill everything.
he tried to save somebody. And that was the reason that he got destroyed.
Yeah, but he tried to say like an animal or something like that.
Yeah, that was the reason
Where
he got
like
destroyed.
sacrifice it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like he was like, what was he liking? Discipline. So to answer your question, man, like a lack of discipline, ignorance is what make us want to save everybody. Now we could have went to John 3:16 and broke down whosoever and all of that, because that's what people want to pull. They're going to pull John 3:16, but it's really the spirit behind it. And I want you to understand the spirit behind why would somebody want to save everybody. Because they think that, oh yeah, if I save Lord Sing Sing, you know what I'm saying, she gonna be, she might die or whatever, she's little, and you never know. But Lord Sing Sing might grow up and, you know what I mean, she might develop a nuclear weapon to wipe the whole side of the earth away. You know what I'm saying? Because you gave her the knowledge, and she already had the spirit or the demon in her to take that knowledge and just use it to destroy you. You know what I'm saying?
One
So-
thing I do know, white people are naturally like cunning and deceptive.
Right.
It's an experience. They find pleasure in harming things.
Right. Absolutely. That's their spirit. So by saving somebody like that, you just put yourself in danger at the end of the day. Answer your question? All right, what's your next question? I know you got nothing.
Okay.
We got 10 minutes. I know you got 20 minutes.
I want to hear the thing about the government that you said you had put together.
It's last week. Go to last week class. Watch last week class. It's on the internet. Type in I.S.U.P.K on YouTube, Houston, Wednesday class. Go to last week on live. You'll see the class titled Our Government. We break down the hills and the mountains, who and what they are, and what our government will look like once we establish our government. And why we want to tie our government to theirs. They got a little mountain, we got a big mountain, right? If we establish our mountain, it'll just tower theirs. Theirs will never see sunlight. Right or wrong, Yakubad? They would never see sunlight because our mountain is way better than theirs. Like I said, if we had our own food places, you would never go to theirs. If we had our own sports leagues, you would never watch theirs. If we had our own everything, clothing lines, you would never buy theirs. Our own sneakers, you would never buy theirs. Because they just like, man, that's just like diet America at that point. That's like, it's like, ew.
No
like,
salt.
yeah, it's got no soul in it. It's just depleted of everything that makes it, all the flavor is gone.
Yeah, I said no salt.
No salt, exactly. I thought you said no salt. No salt. It's all the flavor is gone. So, like, if you look at last week, our government is really just talking about how once we develop our nation, our land,
No, I should have said salt, like you.
no, salt. Yes. How you say it?
Salt.
Salt. See, I can't say
Salt.
that. Salt. Dang.
Salt, yeah.
Salt. Salt. How you say it?
Salt.
Salt. Salt. No salt. Listen how crazy. But yeah, you know what I mean? That's that. So look at last week class. I mean, every week coming to class, every day you'll get all these different stories, all these different, you know what I mean, breakdowns and all that. That's why at your stage in the truth, I couldn't miss a class. If I missed a class, bro, I would have been right outside with a whole pack in my pocket the next day. If I missed any class, if I missed one class, I was one class away from a big blunt and a big pack. One class away. So at your time, where you at in the truth, how old you are, how old are you in the truth? Like what, like a year? You, maybe? Maybe? All right, if I'll give you 2. So I'm gonna just say you a 25-year-old man, right? With a 2-year-old spirit, right? So you had 25 years to develop your flesh. You only had 2 years to develop your spirit. So you got a tiny baby spirit. You know what I mean? So every day you want to help that spirit grow. Give it the milk that it needs to grow. Because one day that flesh or that spirit is going to want to go hunt. And that's when it's time for meat. But right now you got to give it the milk that it needs to grow, which is why you can't miss class. You got to feed that spirit, because if you don't feed it, the spirit dies. You know what I'm saying? Like when they babies, they so needy. You know what I'm saying? And they feed from the host. The host is the 5,000 you have around you, the captains, the officers, and the generals. You know what I'm saying? Those are the hosts that you feed from. You know what I'm saying? It's a body. You feed from the body of the Lord. That body helps that baby spirit grow. That's why you got milk scriptures, right? And once you get a chance to develop that body or that spirit, then you become somebody. You become part of the flesh. And that flesh, it wants to devour food. And it goes out there to save its people. That's your job. So every day you gotta come to class. Like, that's the point. If I didn't feed my flesh, man, I would step over all them crack vials and all them weed bags and walk past the blunt store and the liquor store and the beer store, walk past the cigarette store and the dope dealer. All my homies get on the bus smelling like weed and all that, sit next to a crackhead, get on the bus, get off the bus, and all the dope heads like, hey, you got $5, all kind of crazy stuff on 69th Street, and walk to class. You know what I'm saying? And the demons was like literally like this, like pulling me back into the world. That's how you gotta fight. And I need you to see it like that, because the demons want you. Trust me, they want you. And you're not gonna let you clean up yourself. So every day you fight. And the only way you can fight is by the strength of your spirit, by coming to class. You know what I mean? So watch last week. It was a great class last week. Just come every day, as much as you can, because you can't do it alone. And if you do try to do it alone, I'm gonna say you're selfish, because you're gonna suffer on your own, and you didn't give us a chance to suffer with you. Right? And that's brotherhood. That's brotherhood. What's your other question, man?
That's all I got for right now.
That's all you got for right now? Yo! I thought my young questions was like Instagram feeds. I thought it never ended at some point. I ain't never get to the end of Instagram. But most high Christ, I'm glad you got your questions answered. You know what I mean? So let's do this. Let's Y'all can buy you any questions? Any questions online? Can they hear us? Scripture. Bear with me. Hmm? Alright, this might be a little bit, this might be a husky jump for you. Alright, let's do it. Give me Romans 3 and 9. Romans 3 and 9. Now, that's what I mean the difference between milk and meat. I'm gonna have you read the scripture, then I'm gonna have you break it down. But
What then? Are we better than they?
call it out.
Oh, this is the book of Romans chapter 3 verse 9.
But
What then? Are we better than they? No, in no wise, for we have before proved both Jews and Gentiles that they are all under sin.
Can you break it down?
Conversation between two Israelites.
No. No. Just read it, like when you go, this why you need an actual Bible. So you can go home and you can actually read. You're not gonna read in that phone. Cause you're gonna get a text message, your girl gonna hit you, like, yo, come through. I'm like, man, damn this Bible. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta put your phone to the side and actually read. You know what I mean? Cause trust me, it helps. Trust me, it helps. I'm only giving you what was given to me, right? Because somebody cared enough to save my soul, right? Because salvation is surely for Israel, which is why the scripture is so heavy. Read it again.
What then? Are we better than they? No, in no wise, for we have before proved both Jews and Gentiles.
So now we know who they are, right? We know who we are, we know who they are. The scripture just said who the two people are. Who's the two people?
Israelite.
Who's
Jews
the
and
two?
Gentiles.
Jews and Gentiles, right? These Gentiles aren't Jews because it's a difference, right? So that's the they. Go ahead.
That they are all under sin.
Now, Jews and Gentiles are both under sin, is what it's saying, right? Is that correct? It is. It is. Read it one more time.
What then? Are we better than they? No, in no wise, for we have both proved both Jews and Gentiles that they are all under sin.
Yeah. What the scripture is saying, like, we not. Why would the Lord choose us? Are we better than Esau? Are we better than Moab? What makes us better than anybody? What makes you different than the person that you're trying to save? Or the person that they want to save? Huh? Was chosen by the Lord. That's the only thing that makes us different. So you might want to save them, but the Lord chose you. So now you gotta choose who you want to save. Yourself or the people that you want to let come among you and rise up and be great and then take you over because you didn't save yourself first. The only way to save them is to save you. That's the difference between you and them. You got wisdom, they don't. You got discipline, they don't. That's the difference between you and any nigga on the street. They can't control themselves. They get horny, they go and do it to anything. They get sad, they're gonna kill anybody. Or kill themselves. They're gonna smoke until they pass out. They're gonna pop pills until they can't remember nothing. Slobbering all over the place, dipping all over the street. They don't have no discipline. They woman getting mad, they're gonna beat the woman up. You know what I'm saying? She leave, be with somebody else, they're going to shoot at them. It's just no discipline. But you would never move like that. Right? You're different. The Lord gave you a spirit that belongs to him. Right? And that's what we protect. So you save yourself first, because salvation is only for you. And then you can save them, and you check the hell out of them. Because they're not different than you. Like, you probably do the same type of stuff as your father did. Right? Same type of men. You are the truth man. That's what's gonna make you better than him. Lord willing. Other than that, y'all be the same men. Right? Any more questions? Read these scriptures, Bayan. Get you a Bible, open it. Don't try to read it front to back. You can't do it like that. Just focus on the chapter, or not a chapter, like get one of the books. The Bible got 66 books in it. So don't think you're gonna just read it, all the books straight like that. It don't work like that. You gotta know what what's it called? Genesis is. Genesis is folk tales, folklore. It's passed down for hundreds of years. And then Moses finally wrote it down after hundreds of years, a lot of generations. So he might not be all way, you know what I mean, critical like if it was in the wilderness with him. He could write that down because he was there. Numbers mean in the wilderness, right? Who was where? Daniel was in Babylon. Jeremiah was over here. Some of them was in the same school. Like Baruch and Jeremiah and Obadiah was in the same school, like we are. Right? They was homies. Obadiah was homies with Jeremiah. Actually, Jeremiah, the bigger the book, the more rank the person had. Jeremiah had a lot of rank, which is why he got a bigger book. Obadiah was a younger man. Understanding the Bible help you read it better. Right? So, get in your Bible, man, open it up, see what you can find. Come to class with some questions. And your job is to try to stump one of us. Your job is to come with a question so heavy that we can't answer it. I want you to do that every day. Can you do that? I know you can. I know you can come to class every day with a question so heavy that I can't answer it. That's what you're going to do from now on, alright? With that being said, we're going to pass the class off to Priest and Trooper Bayan. You got the how old are these?
Yeah, I got both.
Brother, I.S.U.P.K started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother and sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the sister will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Ties, which is a commandment. Numbers chapter 18, verse 21. Also Malachi 3 and 8 through 18 through 10 means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'asharah. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, fuel, offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like.
Or whatever size bottle.
Or whatever size bottle, upcoming and holy convocations. Memorial blowing of the trumpets, first day of the 7th month, Wednesday the 2nd, October 2024. You can read about it in Leviticus chapter 23, 24 through 25. Anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black blue shirt, pins, and a headband. And these are the security announcements.
said, we're gonna get the one crazy salute. Salute us out. In Israel, I.S.U.P.K, Majim, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakah, Yajimatai, Sar. We're gonna get the sisters one crazy salute. In Israel, I.S.U.P.K, Majim, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, Yajimatai. That's dismissed. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see if we cut the line. Wait, pull it up. Wait. All right, go ahead.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I got the sound though.
Yeah, cut. Oh, it's in no card. Did it cut the line though?
Nah, it's still